Welcome to the Abstract Blood Type Wellness Podcast, where the right play meets purpose and flavor finds faith.
Blood type balance, mind, body, whole. Feed your spirit, that's the ultimate goal. We season for life.
Greetings and welcome back to the Abstract Blood Type Wellness Podcast. I am your host, AC Price, certified wellness nutrition coach and educator, and founder of the AC Art of Food. And I'm so very glad you're here with me today for episode 19, Cortisol Belly, Perimenopause, and the Blood Type Factor. Now, if you feel like you have been doing everything right, you're eating clean, you're intentionally moving your body, and you're still watching that midsection expand as you move throughout your 40s and 50s, I need you to hear this, okay? Loud and clear. This is not a character flaw. It is biology. And today we're unpacking exactly what's happening and what you can do about it. Now, I have been in deep conversation this week with the women inside of our brand new 14-day Culinary Cortisol Reset, which launched just this past Friday. And I'm so grateful and thankful because the response has been phenomenal. And today's episode is for every woman who has felt confused and unseen and just lost about the conversation around weight and hormones. Okay. And that changes right now. So let's dig into the science behind the simplicity of it. So the National Institutes of Health confirms that cortisol, your body's primary stress hormone, is directly promoting visceral fat deposition. And that visceral fat is that deep abdominal fat that wraps around your organs. It produces its own inflammatory signals and disrupts insulin sensitivity in ways that make it extraordinarily difficult to lose. Now add in perimenopause. And research from the Cleveland Clinic confirms that as estrogen declines, the body's ability to regulate cortisol weakens significantly. Estrogen normally buffers this cortisol fat storing effect, and especially in the midsection. And when that buffer disappears, cortisol surges more easily and recovers more slowly and deposits fat more efficiently. So right there in the belly, okay? And that is cortisol belly. And it's one of the most misunderstood symptoms of this entire transition. And the educational piece about it, there's a myth, right? So the myth that is keeping a lot of women stuck, and that myth is work harder, eat less, exercise more, and the weight will come off. Well, for cortisol belly, that approach can actually make things dramatically worse. So when your body is already under hormonal stress and you add aggressive calorie restriction and intense daily cardio, you trigger more cortisol. And more cortisol means more visceral fat storage. And the solution is not more restriction. No, the solution is cortisol regulation. And through food timing, food quality, and lifestyle rituals that generally lower your stress hormone. So that's the entire architecture around my Culinary Cortisol Reset course, because as you're about to see, your blood type shapes exactly how that solution needs to be built. All right. So let's get into the blood type personalization. For my blood type O's, this means that, fast cortisol response that's in perimenopause can show up as irritability for you, restlessness, and hard to shift belly weight. Okay. So we're going to anchor every meal, of course, with that clean protein, especially during breakfast. Let's use vigorous, short burst exercises to metabolize stress hormones rather than, sitting in the surge. We're going to continue to minimize that wheat and corn and dairy because they are your top inflammatory triggers. Moving on to my type A's. Now, this is the body type where cortisol belly is the most pronounced and the most persistent. So type A carries a naturally elevated cortisol baseline. Add in perimenopause, hormonal shifts on top, and you have a body that is cortisol saturated and storing abdominal fat aggressively. Anxiety, overthinking, and overresponsibility all elevate cortisol in type A's without a single gym session. So the plant-forward, fermented food-rich eating patterns is what serves type A's best, and is also the most powerful cortisol regulating pattern that exists. Okay. So for type A's, of course, stress management is not a luxury. No, it's nutritional medicine. It is a necessity daily. Okay. For my type B's are metabolically flexible, but perimenopause can change the entire equation because cortisol belly for type B's tend to show up through impulse eating and blood sugar volatility, right? Rather than chronic anxiety. So under hormonal stress, type B's reach for that chicken, corn, and refined carbs already that are inflammatory triggers. And that's compounding the problem. So the fix is going to be, of course, consistent blood sugar management, regular meal timing, protein from lamb, turkey, fish, and high quality, small amounts of dairy, and balanced, moderate movement. Okay. And then for our type ABs absorb that stress deeply and quietly. Okay. Cortisol belly often arrives without any type of dramatic warning signs, and large, heavy meals during high stress periods compound cortisol's effects significantly for ABs. Small, frequent, light meals are going to keep that blood sugar stable and cortisol from spiking post meal. So, a predictable morning routine, mindful eating, and consistent sleep rituals are going to be AB's most powerful cortisol tools. All right. So, let's incorporate some lifestyle rituals. And with this, we're just going to get some integration in our day to day lives. All right. So, 3 points. One, the morning cortisol anchor. So, eating small, protein forward meals as your first meal of the day. If you're intermittent fasting, if you're having breakfast, this is going to be great first thing whenever your eating window does open, because this blunts the natural morning cortisol spike and stabilizes blood sugar before it has a chance to surge. So for type O's, think like eggs or turkey. My type A's, almond butter with a nice Ezekiel toast and with some berries. Type B, cottage cheese with walnuts, sliced peaches. And then for my type ABs, think like soft scrambled eggs and some smoked salmon. For midday, number 2, the midday movement reset. I want you to swap one high intensity workout per week for a 20-minute walk, restorative yoga, or gentle stretching, because over exercising during perimenopause is one of the most common drivers of cortisol belly. So one moderate session swap per week is going to make a measurable difference. And then third, the evening wind down. Tea, of course. So try chamomile or valerian for my type A's, peppermint or holy basil for my type O's, a nice rubios for type B, and think of a ginger or a green tea for type AB. And just 10 minutes of screens off stillness every evening. And this is going to be your cortisol's daily off switch. So it's going to signal to the body that like, okay, we can chill for now. All right. The great eats segment. This is going to be the dinner edition, and something that you can incorporate that's going to lower your cortisol, stabilize blood sugar, and support your body's reset, okay, while you sleep. So for my type O's, I have a suggestion of grass fed, of course, beef as a stir fry, or some wild caught salmon, roasted sweet potatoes, sauteed kale and spinach with garlic, olive oil, shred in a little bit of that purple cabbage, some great antioxidant veggies, some fresh lemon, and sea salt. That's going to be a great combination. For my blood type A's, pan-seared tempeh or wild-caught sardines, steamed brown rice, roasted broccoli and carrots, miso-glazed zucchini, sauteed spinach with sesame oil, toasted pumpkin seeds, and a drizzle of tahini. For my blood type B's, try some roasted lamb or baked turkey breast, steamed jasmine rice, collard greens with olive oil, roasted beets, a little feta crumble on top, and some fresh parsley with a splash of apple cider vinegar. Then for my type ABs, pan-seared wild-caught salmon over millet, a beautiful grain, steamed snap peas and zucchini, lemon ginger dressing, little fresh dill, and the chamomile tea to close the meal out. All right, so our final reflection. This is not your fault. Cortisol belly is a biological response to a real hormonal transition. And now you understand it. And the question is no longer just, is this healthy? It is this healthy for my blood type, my hormones, and where am I right now? And that shifts everything. So if you're ready to move forward with understanding this action, I do recommend our 14-day culinary cortisol reset. And it's open right now, and women are already inside doing the work. Come join us at your own pace, and it's virtual. So in closing, cortisol belly is one of the most misunderstood symptoms of the perimenopause transition. And now you understand it in a way that most people never will. And that knowledge is power. And the next step is putting it to practice. So before you go, if today's episode has supported you in any way, please be sure to subscribe to the Abstract Blood Type Wellness Podcast wherever you get your podcasts so you never miss a grounded, practical wellness conversation with me. And if you're ready to go deeper, I invite you to visit acrtofood.com and start with our culinary health assessment, available to you right on our homepage to complete for free. From there, you'll be able to explore our 14-day culinary cortisol reset, our blood type wellness one-on-one starter kits, wellness coaching and memberships, our custom meal plans and healing tea blends, custom to you, and our 7 deliciously healing wellness ebooks and e-cookbooks. And of course, our flagship product that started it all, our small batch heart healthy abstract spice gold seasoning blends that make healthy taste oh so good. Remember, longevity begins with honoring your biology. And until next time, great eats and healthy living.